Admiral Park Jin-woo stood motionless before the holographic display, his weathered face illuminated by the soft blue glow of Earth's orbital defense network. The Galactic Empire's delegation had just left Earth's space after issuing their ultimatum: submit or face annihilation. They actually believe we're primitive, Jin-woo mused to his second-in-command, Captain Lee Sun-mei. 70 years of careful preparation, and they fell for every bit of it. The classified bunker beneath Mount Paektu buzzed with activity as the world's military leaders assembled. Operation Blackstar, humanity's ace in the hole, was finally ready for deployment. The first signs of the Empire's ships had appeared 3 months ago. Their massive vessels had emerged from hyperspace at the edge of the solar system, sending waves of panic through Earth's population. But for people like Jin-woo, it was the moment they had prepared for since the discovery of the crashed alien ship in 1954. Captain Lee moved closer to the display, her dark eyes focused on the retreating Imperial ships. Their arrogance is exactly what we needed, Admiral. Did you see how they barely scanned our defense systems? Jin-woo nodded, a slight smile crossing his face. Of course, our surface-level technology is exactly what they expected to find: old satellites, primitive nuclear weapons, and basic space stations. He waved his hand, and the hologram shifted to show Earth's hidden defense grid. They'd never thought to look deeper. Below their feet, the bunker shook as another transport arrived. The world's top military commanders had been arriving steadily since the Empire's departure. Chinese, American, Russian, European. Today, there were no borders, only humanity standing united against a common threat. Captain, bring up the Blackstar specs, Jin-woo ordered. The hologram changed again, showing a massive ship unlike anything humanity had publicly revealed. Its dark hull seemed to absorb light, covered in geometric patterns that helped it blend with the very fabric of space. 70 years, Jin-woo said softly. 70 years of reverse engineering the crashed ship. 70 years of keeping our real progress hidden. Every nation pooling their resources in secret while maintaining a facade of division and primitive technology. The bunker's main doors opened, and General Sarah Chen walked in, followed by her Russian counterpart, General Viktor Petrov. The Empire gave us exactly 1 week to surrender, Chen announced, her voice carrying across the room. They expect us to spend that time in panic and chaos. Instead, Petrov added with a grim smile, we will show them what humanity has been hiding all along. Captain Lee brought up another display, showing hundreds of underground facilities across the globe. All production facilities are at full capacity, Admiral. The Blackstar's sister ships are ready for final assembly. Our lunar base reports that the main vessel can be deployed within 48 hours. Jin-woo turned to face the gathering of military leaders. The Empire thinks they found a primitive species barely capable of spaceflight. They sought exactly what we wanted them to see: old rockets, basic satellites, and a seemingly divided planet. They never detected our quantum sensors, our dark matter power plants, or our zero-point energy weapons. The room fell silent as Jin-woo walked to the center of the holographic display. For 7 decades, we've maintained this deception. Every space launch failure was carefully planned. Every public revelation about our space program was deliberately primitive. We let them think we were still fighting over fossil fuels while our real power plants were hidden underground. The crew is ready, Captain Lee reported. They've trained their entire lives for this moment. The Blackstar isn't just a ship, it's humanity's statement to the galaxy. Jin-woo looked at each face in the room. These were the people who had carried the burden of secrecy for decades. The Empire gave us 1 week to surrender. In 3 days, we will give them our answer. General Chen stepped forward. All naval forces are in position. The moment Blackstar launches, our hidden fleets will emerge from the underwater bases. And our orbital platforms? Jin-woo asked. Still masked as communication satellites, Petrov confirmed. The Empire has no idea each one carries enough firepower to destroy a capital ship. Captain Lee brought up one final display: a live feed from the lunar facility where the USS Blackstar waited. The massive ship hung in its cradle, its dark hull reflecting nothing. Decades of research, countless sacrifices, and the combined will of humanity had created something unprecedented. "Send the signal," Jinwoo ordered. "Tell all facilities to begin final preparations. When the Empire returns, they'll find not a primitive species cowering in fear, but a unified human race ready for war." As the commanders dispersed to their stations, Jinwoo remained before the hologram. Captain Lee stood beside him, both watching as status reports began flowing in from around the world. "Do you think they suspect anything?" Lee asked quietly. Jinwoo shook his head. "Their arrogance blinds them. They've conquered so many truly primitive worlds that they can't imagine one successfully deceiving them." He paused, watching as another transport arrived carrying more military leaders. In all their years of expansion, they'd never encountered a species that planned ahead like we did. They never found a world that turned first contact into a 70-year advantage. The bunker continued to buzz with activity as humanity's greatest secret moved into its final phase. Soon, the Empire would return, expecting to find a panicked, primitive species ready to surrender. Instead, they would face their worst nightmare, a humanity that had spent 7 decades preparing for this very moment. The USS Blackstar emerged from its lunar cradle like a predator awakening from hibernation. Its obsidian hull absorbed light rather than reflected it, making it appear as a ship-shaped void in space. Commander Kim Tae-ri, the vessel's captain, ran her hand along the smooth control interface. "All systems operational," reported Chief Engineer Kang Dua. "Quantum drive stable, dark matter core at optimal capacity." The Imperial observers stationed at the edge of the solar system could only watch in stunned silence as their sensors failed to lock onto the vessel that technically shouldn't exist. "Primary systems engaging," Kang announced from his station. The bridge crew worked with practiced efficiency, each movement precise and deliberate. They had trained for this moment in simulations thousands of times, but nothing compared to the real thing. The ship's dark matter core hummed to life, sending waves of energy through the vessel's quantum crystalline structure. Unlike conventional ships that announced their presence with bright engine flares, the Blackstar moved like a shadow, silent and deadly. "Status report from all sections," Commander Kim ordered, her voice steady despite the historic nature of the moment. One by one, her crew responded. "Weapons systems ready," Lieutenant Park reported from Tactical. "Dark matter cannons charge. Quantum torpedoes armed. Stealth systems at full capacity," added Lieutenant Han from Operations. "Our quantum field is masking all emissions. As far as their sensors are concerned, we don't exist." Commander Kim smiled as she watched the Imperial observation ships through the Blackstar's advanced sensors. Their confusion was evident in their erratic movements and repeated scanning attempts. "Let's give them something to see," she said. With a series of precise commands, the Blackstar moved out of the moon's shadow. Its massive form, nearly 2 kilometers in length, should have been impossible to miss. Yet the Imperial ships continued to scan frantically, their sensors unable to lock onto the void that moved through space with impossible grace. "Message from Earth Command," Communications Officer Yoon announced. "Admiral Park says we're clear to proceed with the demonstration." Commander Kim nodded. "Very well. Helm, take us past the Imperial observation fleet. Let's show them what humanity has been hiding." The Blackstar accelerated, its movement completely silent in the vacuum of space. The ship's quantum drive allowed it to ignore many of the normal laws of physics, moving with an agility that should have been impossible for a vessel of its size. "Imperial ships are attempting to communicate," Yoon reported. "They're demanding we identify ourselves." "Let them wait," Kim replied. "First, let's show them why they should have looked closer at Earth's capabilities." The Blackstar executed a series of maneuvers that defied conventional space combat doctrine. It moved like water, flowing around the Imperial ships with precision that made their own movements seem clumsy and primitive. "They're powering up weapons," Park reported from Tactical, a note of anticipation in his voice. "Perfect," Kim said. "Activate the quantum shield matrix. Let them see what happens when they fire on us." The Imperial ships launched their first volley of plasma weapons. The energy beams, capable of destroying conventional ships, simply vanished as they approached the Blackstar. The quantum shields didn't deflect or absorb the attacks. They removed them from existence entirely. "Shield status?" Kim asked, though she already knew the answer. "Shields at 100%, Kang reported with pride. "The quantum matrix is functioning exactly as designed. Their weapons literally cease to exist before they reach us." The Imperial ships backed away, their formation breaking as they realized the extent of their miscalculation. For 70 years, they had watched Earth, seeing only what humanity wanted them to see. Now they faced the consequences of their assumption. "We're receiving new orders from Admiral Park," Hume announced. "We're to proceed with Phase 2 of the demonstration." Commander Kim straightened in her chair. "Very well. Lieutenant Park, target the asteroid designated Alpha 7. Show them our main weapon." The Blackstar's primary weapon system came online, drawing power directly from the dark matter core. The ship's geometric patterns began to pulse with subtle energy as the weapon charged. "Dark matter cannon at full power," Park reported. "Target locked. Fire." The weapon discharged without a visible beam or projectile. Instead, a sphere of absolute darkness appeared around the target asteroid. When it cleared a moment later, the massive rock was simply gone, erased from existence at the quantum level. "Send the following message to the Imperial ships," Kim ordered. "This is Commander Kim Tae-ri of the U.S. Blackstar. Consider this a demonstration of humanity's true capabilities. Your ultimatum has been received and rejected. You have 24 hours to leave the solar system, or we will consider your presence an act of war." The bridge crew watched as panic spread through the Imperial fleet. Ships began jumping to hyperspace, retreating to report what they had witnessed. "Message from Admiral Park," Hume announced. He says, "Well done. The deception is over. Now the real work begins." Commander Kim looked at her crew, seeing the same determination in their eyes that she felt. For generations, humanity had hidden its true nature, playing the role of a primitive species while preparing for this moment. The U.S. Blackstar wasn't just a ship. It was humanity's declaration to the galaxy that they would never be conquered. "All stations," Kim ordered, "maintain battle readiness. The Empire won't take this lying down. They'll be back, and next time, they'll bring their full fleet." She paused, looking at the stars through the bridge viewport. "But this time, we'll be ready for them." The Imperial fleet arrived with the arrogance typical of their kind. Admiral Song Han of the Earth Defense Force watched as thousands of Imperial ships dropped out of hyperspace. "Now we'll see if the Blackstar is worth all the resources we poured into it," she muttered. The battle that followed would be remembered for generations. The U.S. Blackstar moved like a ghost through the Imperial formation, its advanced weapons systems cutting through their supposedly superior technology like paper. The Imperial warships filled Earth's orbit, their massive forms blocking out the stars. Admiral Song stood in Earth's primary defense command center, watching as more enemy ships continued to arrive. Each Imperial vessel was bigger than anything humanity had publicly revealed, their weapons capable of destroying entire cities. They brought their entire Third Fleet, Captain Lee reported, his eyes fixed on the tactical display. Over 3,000 ships, including their planet killer vessels. Admiral Song's expression remained calm, though her hands tightened on the command rail. "Send the signal to Commander Kim. The Blackstar is cleared to engage, and activate our orbital defense grid." The U.S. Blackstar emerged from its hiding place behind Mars, its dark hull making it nearly invisible against the void of space. Commander Kim's voice came through clear on the command channel. "Blackstar engaging. All Earth forces, begin Operation Nightfall." The Imperial fleet detected the Blackstar's approach and responded with overwhelming force. Thousands of energy beams lanced through space, enough firepower to vaporize a small moon. But the Blackstar simply wasn't there when the attacks arrived, its quantum drive allowing it to shift position faster than light itself. "First blood is ours," Captain Lee announced as the Blackstar's dark matter weapons fired. 3 Imperial heavy cruisers simply ceased to exist, their quantum structure erased from reality. The Imperial fleet's formation broke as they tried to track the impossible ship. Their sensors, designed to detect conventional energy signatures, were useless against the Blackstar's stealth systems. Every time they thought they had it cornered, it would appear somewhere else, striking with devastating precision. "Now," Admiral Song ordered, "reveal our true defenses." Across Earth's orbit, hundreds of seemingly innocent satellites transformed. Their civilian shells fell away, revealing advanced weapon platforms that humanity had positioned over decades. The Imperial fleet found itself caught between these platforms and the attacking Blackstar. "They're launching fighters," Lee reported. "Thousands of them." "Perfect," Song replied. "Deploy our drone swarms." From hidden bases on the Moon and Mars, millions of small automated craft emerged. Each one was powered by a miniature quantum core, making them nearly as elusive as the Blackstar itself. The Imperial fighters, expecting an easy victory against primitive enemies, instead found themselves overwhelmed by opponents they could barely detect. The Blackstar cut through the heart of the Imperial formation, its weapons turning capital ships into expanding clouds of particles. Commander Kim's voice remained steady as she coordinated with Earth's defenses, moving to Phase 2, targeting their command ships. Admiral Song watched as the battle unfolded exactly as they had planned. The Empire had expected to find Earth defended by primitive missiles and nuclear weapons. Instead, they faced technology that had been refined and perfected in secret for 70 years. "Their fleet is trying to regroup," Lee announced. "They're pulling back to attempt a concentrated assault." "They still think they can win through brute force," Song observed. "Signal the Blackstar. Time to show them our full capabilities." The Blackstar's dark matter core pulsed with power as it activated its primary weapon system. A sphere of absolute darkness expanded from the ship, engulfing a large section of the Imperial fleet. When it cleared, over 200 enemy vessels had simply ceased to exist. Panic spread through the Imperial forces as they realized the true extent of their miscalculation. Ships began jumping to hyperspace, retreating in disorder. The mighty Third Fleet, terror of 1,000 worlds, was being routed by a single planet they had dismissed as primitive. "Enemy fleet is breaking up," Lee reported with satisfaction. "They're retreating on all vectors." Admiral Song nodded, but her expression remained serious. "The real war starts now. Once they report back, the Empire will have no choice but to commit everything they have. They can't allow a power like ours to exist independently." She turned to face her command staff. "Send word to all Earth forces. The deception is over. From now on, we fight as who we truly are." She looked back at the tactical display, where the Blackstar was methodically eliminating the remaining Imperial ships. "And may the Empire learn what it means to face humanity at its full strength." The battle ended as the last Imperial ships flowed into hyperspace. The U.S. Blackstar held position above Earth, a silent guardian against the stars. Humanity had revealed its true face to the galaxy, and nothing would ever be the same. "Send my congratulations to Commander Kim," Admiral Song ordered. "Today, we showed the Empire that humanity will never kneel. Tomorrow, we take the fight to them." The stars seemed brighter somehow as the debris from the battle began to clear. Humanity had waited 70 years for this moment, and they had proven themselves more than ready. The age of hiding was over. The age of humanity had begun. Deep in Imperial space, the U.S. Blackstar discovered the true extent of the Empire's cruelty. Captain Kim and her crew found dozens of enslaved species, their world stripped of resources. "This ends now," Kim declared to her crew. Lieutenant Yoon Ji-hoo, the ship's tactical officer, already had liberation plans drawn up. They hadn't spent decades preparing to simply defend Earth. They were here to free the galaxy. The Blackstar hovered silently above Kepler-4, once a thriving world of crystalline cities and advanced technology. Now it was little more than a mining operation, its native population forced to work in the Empire's resource extraction facilities. "Life signs?" Captain Kim asked, her voice tight with controlled anger. "Detecting approximately 50,000 survivors," reported Science Officer Park. "Most are concentrated in the labor camps around the main mining sites. Imperial presence is minimal. They don't expect resistance anymore." Kim stood from her command chair, walking closer to the main view screen. The planet's surface was scarred with massive strip mines, its once beautiful crystal forests reduced to barren wastelands. "Show me their defense grid," she ordered. Lieutenant Yoon brought up a tactical display. Standard Imperial garrison setup. 1 orbital station, 3 surface-to-space weapon platforms. Nothing our stealth systems can't handle. "What about the workers?" Kim asked. "Are they being monitored?" "Neural control chips," Park replied grimly. "Standard Imperial slave control technology. But we've developed countermeasures based on the data from our previous liberations." Kim nodded. The Blackstar had spent the last month striking deep into Imperial territory, freeing enslaved worlds and gathering intelligence. Each liberation taught them more about Imperial technology and tactics. "Begin the operation," Kim ordered. "Strike Team Alpha, prepare for deployment. Engineering, stand by with the neural dampening field." The Blackstar's Special Operations Team, led by Commander Choi, was ready within minutes. Their advanced combat suits, like the ship itself, were products of decades of secret human technological development. "First target is the orbital station," Yoon announced. "Its destruction will blind their ground forces." The Blackstar moved into position, still undetectable to Imperial sensors. A single shot from its dark matter cannon erased the station from existence. Before the Empire could react, Strike Team Alpha was already deploying to the surface. "Neural dampening field active," reported Chief Engineer Kang. "Control chips are offline. The slaves are free to think for themselves again." Through the tactical feeds, Kim watched as chaos erupted in the labor camps. The freed workers, their neural controls suddenly inactive, began to turn on their Imperial overseers. Commander Choi's team moved through the confusion like ghosts, eliminating Imperial officers and arming the resistance leaders they had identified. "Message from Commander Choi," Yoon reported. "The Keplerians have organized faster than expected. They're already taking control of the mining facilities." Kim smiled. "These people were warriors once, before the Empire broke them. Sometimes all you need to do is remove the chains." The liberation took less than 6 hours. The Imperial garrison, cut off from support and faced with thousands of angry former slaves, fell quickly. By the time the last resistance ended, the Keplers had reclaimed their main city. "Captain," Park called out, "I'm detecting a signal from the surface. Their resistance leaders want to speak with us." The main screen activated, showing a group of Keplers. Their crystalline bodies shimmered with restored pride as they faced their liberators. We never dreamed this day would come," their leader said. "The Empire told us Earth was destroyed, that humanity had been crushed." "The Empire lies," Kim replied simply. "We've spent decades preparing, watching, learning. Now we're here to help all those they've enslaved." "But they will return," another Kepler warned. "They always return." "Not this time," Kim assured them. "We're not just freeing worlds, we're building an alliance. Each liberated planet makes us stronger. The Empire's days of tyranny are numbered." As if to emphasize her point, Lieutenant Yoon spoke up. "Captain, we're receiving signals from 3 nearby systems. Word of the liberation is spreading. They're asking for help." Kim turned back to the screen. "Will you join us? Earth cannot fight the Empire alone, but together we can end their reign forever." The Kepler leader straightened, his crystalline form glowing with determination. "We will fight. We will rebuild. And we will have revenge. Not revenge, Kim corrected gently. Justice and freedom for all species. As the Blackstar prepared to move to its next target, Kim watched the Keplers beginning to reclaim their world. Each liberation was another step toward their ultimate goal, not just defending Earth, but reshaping the galaxy into something better. Next target, Yoon asked. The Proxima system, Kim replied. Another enslaved world, but this time we'll have Kepler warriors fighting alongside us. She smiled. The Empire thought they could divide and conquer the galaxy. Instead, they've given us allies in every star system they've oppressed. The Blackstar disappeared into the darkness of space, leaving behind a free world and taking with it the seeds of revolution. The Empire had spent centuries building their power through fear and cruelty. Now they would learn what happens when their victims unite, led by a humanity they had foolishly underestimated. Your deception was impressive, the Imperial Arch-Commander admitted as he faced the holographic projection of Admiral Park. But surely one ship cannot challenge an empire. Park's smile was cold. Who said we only built one? Across the galaxy, hidden shipyards activated. The Blackstar was never meant to be unique. It was the prototype for humanity's real fleet. Each vessel, commanded by officers like Captain Choi Min-ki and Commander Bak Yumai, represented decades of careful planning. The Arch-Commander's golden eyes narrowed as new signals began appearing on his command center's displays. Deep within gas giants, behind asteroid fields, and beneath the surfaces of dead moons, humanity's true military might emerge from hiding. Impossible, he whispered, watching as ships identical to the Blackstar revealed themselves. Each one was a perfect copy of the original, their dark hulls absorbing light and sensor readings alike. Admiral Park watched the Arch-Commander's reaction with satisfaction. You see, while the Blackstar was conducting its raids, it was also activating our hidden shipyards, facilities we've been building since we first discovered your empire's existence. On Mars, massive doors opened in the side of Olympus Mons, revealing 5 Blackstar-class vessels. Jupiter's moons, long thought to be nothing more than frozen rocks, transformed as ships emerged from their cores. Even Venus, its harsh atmosphere serving as the perfect cover, housed an entire production facility. Fleet status, Park ordered, and Captain Lee's voice responded immediately. All ships reporting ready, Admiral. The Blackstar-class vessels Thunder, Lightning, Storm, Hurricane, and Tempest are fully operational. Support fleets are moving into position. The Arch-Commander's composure cracked as more ships appeared. You couldn't have built all this in secret. Our surveillance saw exactly what we wanted you to see, Park interrupted. Every failed rocket launch, every primitive satellite, all carefully staged. While you watched our surface activities, we built our real fleet in places you never thought to look. Captain Choi Min-ki's voice came through the command channel as his ship, the U.S. Thunder, moved into formation. Battle Group 1, ready for combat operations. Commander Bak Yumi's U.S. Lightning took position next. Battle Group 2, standing by. One by one, humanity's hidden fleet commanders reported in. Each ship carried the same advanced technology as the original Blackstar: quantum drives, dark matter weapons, and stealth systems that made them virtually invisible to Imperial sensors. You still don't understand, Park told the Arch-Commander. The Blackstar wasn't just a ship, it was a message, a demonstration of what humanity could achieve. Now you'll see what we can do with an entire fleet. The Imperial leader's voice trembled slightly. The Empire has ruled for 10,000 years. We have millions of ships, thousands of worlds. And how many of those worlds are waiting for a chance to break free? Park asked. How many of your slave species will rise up when they see your ships disappearing from their skies? As if to emphasize his point, reports began flooding in from across Imperial space. The Keplerians, the first species liberated by the Blackstar, had already begun sharing their advanced crystal technology with other freed worlds. The rebellion was spreading faster than the Empire could contain it. "Last chance," Park offered. "Withdraw your forces. Free your slave worlds. End this peacefully." The Arch-Commander drew himself up, his pride overwhelming his fear. "The Empire does not surrender to primitives." "Very well." Park nodded to someone off-screen, and all across the galaxy, humanity's fleet moved into attack position. "Remember, you chose this." The Blackstar fleet activated their weapons as one. Dark matter cannons powered up, quantum drives hummed to life, and stealth systems made them vanish from Imperial sensors. The ships that humanity had hidden for decades were finally ready for war. "All ships," Park commanded. "Execute Operation Daybreak. Show the Empire why they should have looked closer at the shadows." The battle that followed would be remembered as the beginning of the Empire's end. Humanity's hidden fleet struck simultaneously across Imperial space, their advanced technology making mockery of the Empire's defenses. Each Blackstar-class vessel led its own battle group, targeting key Imperial facilities and liberating enslaved worlds. The Arch-Commander could only watch as his mighty empire began to crumble. "What are you?" he asked finally. "We are humanity," Park replied simply. "We spent 70 years preparing for this moment, watching you, learning your weaknesses. Now we're going to free every world you've enslaved, dismantle every system of oppression you've built. Not because we want to rule the galaxy ourselves, but because it's the right thing to do." The hologram faded, leaving the Arch-Commander alone with the realization that his empire had fatally underestimated humanity. They had seen Earth's primitive surface and assumed the entire species was backward. They had never thought to look deeper, to question why humans seemed so unconcerned by Imperial threats. Now they would pay the price for that arrogance as humanity's hidden fleet emerged from the shadows to reshape the galaxy. The Imperial capital burned, not with fire, but with the cold light of quantum weaponry. The U.S. Blackstar led the charge, flanked by its sister ships and the liberated fleets of a dozen former slave races. "The Empire called us primitive," Captain Kim broadcast across all frequencies. "They never understood that humanity's greatest strength isn't our technology. It's our determination to never bow to tyranny." The battle for the Imperial capital world of Helios Prime had been raging for 3 days. The Empire had gathered its remaining forces for one final stand, bringing together the largest fleet ever assembled in galactic history. But they faced something unprecedented, a coalition of liberated species led by humanity's Blackstar fleet. Captain Kim stood on the Blackstar's bridge, watching as another Imperial defense platform vanished under their dark matter weapons. The ship's tactical officer, Lieutenant Yoon, called out updates as they came in. Kepler crystal ships breaching their eastern defenses. Proximan energy vessels engaging their fighter squadrons. The Thunder and Lightning are moving to support our main thrust toward the palace. The Imperial capital's legendary defenses, built over thousands of years, were failing one by one. Their mighty shield generators, once thought impenetrable, could not stop weapons that operated on a quantum level. Their automated defense systems, programmed to counter any known attack pattern, were useless against humanity's unpredictable tactics. "Signal from Admiral Park," Communications Officer Lee announced. "The ground assault teams are ready for deployment." Kim nodded. "Tell Commander Choi his strike team is cleared to launch. And signal the Liberation Fleet. It's time for Phase 3. The Blackstar's hull opened, launching dozens of stealth dropships toward the surface. Each carried elite troops from various liberated species, all equipped with humanity's advanced technology. The Empire had spent centuries keeping their slave races divided, never imagining they would one day fight together. "Imperial palace shields are weakening," Yoon reported. The Thunder's last attack disrupted their power grid. Kim watched as the Imperial capital's golden towers began to crumble. The city had stood for 10,000 years as a symbol of the Empire's absolute power. Now it was falling, not to a superior empire, but to the very species they had dismissed as primitive. Enemy reinforcements detected, Science Officer Park called out. 3 fleet groups emerging from hyperspace. Right on schedule, Kim smiled. Signal the hurricane and tempest. Spring the trap. As the Imperial reinforcements arrived, they found themselves caught between the Liberation fleet and 2 more Blackstar-class vessels that had been waiting in stealth mode. The Empire's last hope for victory vanished in a storm of dark matter weapons and quantum torpedoes. On the surface, Commander Choi's strike team fought their way through the Imperial Palace. They were joined by warriors from a dozen species, crystalline Keplerians, energy-based Proximans, and others the Empire had enslaved. Each brought their own unique abilities, enhanced by human technology. Palace defenses breached, Choi reported, moving toward the throne room. The Arch-Emperor's guards are offering heavy resistance. Keep pushing, Kim ordered. The Empire dies today. The battle reached its climax as the strike team fought their way to the Imperial throne room. 10,000 years of history, of oppression and cruelty, were about to end. The Arch-Emperor, who had ruled countless worlds with absolute power, found himself facing the very species he had dismissed as beneath his notice. Look at them, Kim broadcast to all ships as the palace's golden dome collapsed. Look at how quickly their power crumbles when faced with unity and determination. They thought keeping species divided would make them eternal. Instead, it gave them enemies on every world they conquered. The Imperial capital's defenses finally failed completely. The Liberation fleet moved in, not to destroy, but to protect the civilians and former slaves. This wasn't about revenge. It was about building something new from the ashes of tyranny. Message from Commander Choi. Lee announced. The throne room is secured. The Arch-Emperor has surrendered. A cheer went up across the bridge. The empire that had ruled the galaxy for 10,000 years had fallen in less than a year to the species they had dismissed as primitive. Send word to Earth, Kim ordered. Tell Admiral Park that Operation Daybreak is complete. The empire has fallen. As the dust settled over the Imperial capital, Kim looked out at the assembled Liberation fleet. Human ships flew alongside vessels from dozens of species, each contributing their unique strengths to the victory. The Empire had never understood that true power came not from domination, but from cooperation. All ships, Kim broadcast. The war is over. Now the real work begins. Building a galaxy where no species need fear enslavement again. The USS Blackstar hung in orbit above the former Imperial capital, its dark hull a reminder that appearances could be deceiving. Humanity had hidden its true nature for 70 years, waiting for the right moment to strike. Now they would help lead the galaxy into a new age of freedom and cooperation. The Empire had fallen not to superior force, but to the very qualities they had dismissed. Humanity's patience, determination, and ability to unite others for a common cause. As Captain Kim looked out at the liberated capital, she knew that the galaxy would never be the same again. The new Galactic Council gathered in the rebuilt halls of the former Imperial Palace. Admiral Park represented Earth, while Captain Kim stood as a symbol of humanity's role in the liberation. The USS Blackstar remained in orbit, a reminder that peace came through strength and preparation. Humanity had emerged not just as survivors, but as guardians of a free galaxy. We spent 70 years preparing for this moment, Kim told her crew as they watched the sunrise over the new capital. Now we spend the next 70 building something worth protecting. 1 year had passed since the Empire's fall. The former Imperial Palace, once a symbol of oppression, had been transformed. Its golden halls now hosted representatives from every liberated world, each bringing their own hopes for the future. Admiral Park stood at the center of the council chamber, addressing the gathered species. Crystalline Keplerians sat beside energy-form Proximans, while dozens of other species filled the hall. Each had contributed to the Empire's fall, and each would help build what came next. We gather here not to create a new empire, Park declared, but to ensure no empire ever rises again. Each world, each species must remain free to choose its own path. Captain Kim watched from her position near the chamber's entrance. The Blackstar's crew had become legends across the galaxy, but they understood that winning peace was harder than winning war. "The defense fleet reports ready," Lieutenant Yoon whispered to Kim. The combined fleet of human and allied ships patrolled the galaxy, not as conquerors but as peacekeepers. Each Blackstar-class vessel led its own task force, helping worlds rebuild and protecting them from any who would attempt to exploit the power vacuum. In orbit, the U.S. Blackstar's dark hull reflected the light of distant stars. The ship that had helped topple an empire now served as a symbol of protection. Its quantum weapons and stealth systems, once tools of liberation, now helped maintain the peace. "Report from Earth," Commander Choi announced during the council break. "The first joint technology exchange is proceeding well. The Keplerian's crystal tech is revolutionizing our power systems, while our quantum science is helping the Proximans expand their energy manipulation abilities." Kim nodded, satisfied. This was what they had fought for, not just freedom from the Empire, but the chance for all species to grow together. The 70 years humanity had spent preparing in secret now served as the foundation for advancement across the galaxy. "The Council is ready to vote on the Declaration of Unity," an aide announced. The document, crafted over months of careful negotiation, would establish the framework for their new galactic society. Not an empire ruled by force, but a cooperative of free worlds bound by mutual respect and protection. Admiral Park took his position at the podium once more. "Before us lies a choice," he began. "The Empire ruled through fear and division. We propose something different: unity through diversity, strength through cooperation." The council chamber fell silent as Park spoke. "Humanity spent 70 years hiding our true nature, watching as the Empire subjugated world after world. We could have revealed ourselves sooner, could have fought them earlier. But we waited, we prepared, because we understood that defeating the Empire was not enough. We needed to be ready to help build something better." One by one, the representatives voted. Each species, from the mighty Keplerians to the smallest former slave races, had an equal voice. This was what made their new alliance different from the Empire. Power shared, not hoarded. The declaration passed unanimously. As celebrations broke out across the chamber, Kim received a message from her ship. "Captain, we're detecting unusual energy readings from several former Imperial worlds." "Analysis?" Kim asked, already moving toward the exit. "Appears to be weapons testing," Lieutenant Park replied. "Someone's trying to take advantage of the transition." Kim smiled. Some things never change. There would always be those who saw opportunity in chaos. But this time, the galaxy was ready. "Signal the thunder and lightning. Tell them to meet us at the coordinates. The Council's first act will be protecting what we've built." As the Blackstar prepared to launch, Kim looked back at the council chamber. The Empire had ruled for 10,000 years through fear and division. Their new alliance would survive through unity and vigilance. "All hands, battle stations," Kim ordered. The crew moved with practiced efficiency, ready to defend the peace they had fought so hard to achieve. This was their new purpose, not just liberators, but guardians of a free galaxy. The U.S. Blackstar rose from orbit, its dark hull gleaming in the light of a new dawn. They had spent 70 years preparing to defeat an empire. Now they would spend the next 70 ensuring that liberty, once won, would never be lost again. As the ship entered quantum drive, Kim watched the council chamber fade from view. The Empire had fallen, but their work was far from over. Peace required eternal vigilance, and humanity stood ready to protect the future they had helped create. The galaxy was free, and they would keep it that way. Not through oppression, but through unity. Not through fear, but through cooperation. The dawn of tomorrow had arrived, and humanity would make sure it never faded into night again.